So the third advanced question they were given was the question that the mayor-only candidates answered in terms of the fact that the provincial statutes insist that the official community plan must provide the guidelines and all bylaws and zoning must be consistent with the official community plan. And yet sometimes it seems that to move forward, development needs to be altered or changed. And we had those responses. So it's been a pressing concern, and that's why I'm going to go to it now, so we can see what's your perception of the tension or lack of tension between the official community plan and the planning process and the development process. We'll start with Stan, we'll go through to Alice, Anne, and around and end with Dwayne.
For me personally, I like the OCP system, but I just want to remind people that an OCP is not quite law. It can be changed, but what we don't want is a change on the whim of an individual. If there's a vision for an OCP and that OCP directs you, us, all the localities within the district, I think there's 7, but I know we're growing, so the amalgamation is getting a little stronger. But in an OCP, you've got to have that infrastructure and all that, so that, as the present mayor mentioned about working from the beginning, so you have to have a plan in the discussions that you have, and then bring it to the people, and then it comes back either to a committee with council as a whole or whatever. So that's the beginning of an OCP. It's not quite law. People think it's written in stone, but it isn't. Thank you.
Thank you, Stan. We'll go the other direction to Alice.
It's true that council was simply declaring everything to be consistent with the OCP. The reason was that the Local Government Act declares the OCP to be guidelines, and guidelines could be ignored. And when I first started following the council, I pushed very hard for them to stop doing that, declaring things to be consistent with the OCP when they weren't. And after a while, I think they talked to their lawyers in Vancouver because they stopped doing that. But then they started amending it every time it got in the way. Well, it will help when the OCP is updated as is currently being done. But it will also help to have a council that appreciates community values so that the OCP doesn't get amended every time it gets in the way. And I look forward to that very much.
Our OCP is very outdated, and I know it's going to be rewritten, and it's also, the old one is very prescriptive. So it does require amendments. If they didn't amend the OCP for rezoning something, we would not have a library, a swimming pool, or any of your village plans. The purpose of an OCP amendment is to ensure that a proposed project is consistent with the OCP. If I was on council and I was in doubt as to whether a rezoning came up and it was not consistent with the OCP, I would definitely ask for clarification by way of a legal opinion. And we do have municipal lawyers within a phone call, and I think it would be very easy to show if they were aligned.
Thank you, Anne. And Alice Lewis.
Well, I read the vision plan, and I was so impressed with it. I have not read all of the OCP. I understand that we're in the works of combining the two of them, and my hope is that as those changes happen, the community, through public meetings and consultation, will have some more input into what will become a combined vision and OCP. I mean, you can't just willy-nilly go along changing things when the public has already said what their vision is and what their plan is. So it needs to be through consultations and public meetings. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Section 875 states that the purpose and official community plan is that it is a statement of objectives and policies to guide decisions on planning and land use management. Omitted from the Section 884 question is that in that same section, it states an official community plan does not commit or authorize the municipality to proceed with any project that is specified in the plan. In reality, we often see at public hearings that some amendments which are consistent with the OCP are not favorably looked on by the community. Similarly, we have some amendments which are not consistent with the OCP and are looked on favorably by the community. Saying no to any amendments may see lost opportunities to the community that they would really like to see. What do we now do with our official community plan? Public hearings would still appear to be our best consultation process in a changing community.
Oh, thank you for stopping. You can finish, you got a little bit to finish up? Yeah, just let her finish. That was mid-sentence.
Yeah. Oh, well, I've learned my lessons from you. Overriding all of this is the determination of what is deemed to be best for the entire community. Not always an easy decision.
Thanks. And